Hello everyone, not 786 here. How's everyone doing? Okay, so I'm gonna give everyone my opinion on this game, my sort of mini review on this game. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by saying I really had no expectations of this game. To be honest, I didn't even know of the game or of its existence until a few days ago before its release date. And that's when I started looking at it and looking at the concept behind the game. Okay, so let me jump into what I actually like about the game. The game itself, on the visual aspect, it looks actually really good with its color choices and how everything just pops. And then some of the visuals, they're just absolutely amazing. Like, for example, when you see the sunrise for the first time, or when you see the sunset, that is just astonishing when you go into the sky or the atmosphere and just see that for the first time. It's just unbelievable. Then there's also, to add to the visuals, there's actually weather systems on the planet. So there's heavy storms, well, some of them, the ones I've been on, there's heavy storms, heavy rains, or things that you actually need to go get shelter. If you don't, there is a chance you dying. So that just immerses you into the game even more. Then there's the size and scale of this game. 18 quadrillion stars. That is like, oh my, it's just mind-blowing how big this game is and how it generates everything pretty much randomly with a few, well, not a few set of codes, but a few thousand lines of codes. When you go into space, that's when you realize how big this game actually is. The nearest station, space station, takes a very long time to get to if you're just in your normal engines. If you don't have hyperdrive or warp drive, it just takes forever. And I think the game itself does a really good job of portraying how big the universe is. Not just the physical universe around us, but the actual universe within inside the game, how big it is. And you can't just go, okay, I've got no resources, I'm just going to go to the nearest space station and fill up or buy resources and go and get my things and that's it. No, you can't do that. You'll be waiting for hours to get to the actual space station. Above everything, one thing I love about this game is the actual concept behind it. The idea behind this game is a brilliant idea. I can see why it got funding so quickly. Just having 18 quadrillion stars, not like I said, not to mention the planets around it, to explore, to see what everything. People that love survival games, people that love Minecraft should, I'm going to say this with a should, I'll explain why later on, but should actually really love this game. They get to explore different planets, they get to explore a variety of things with a game with a possibility that will never end in your lifetime. Then, of course, there's the idea behind you get to name things that you discover. So planets you discover, animals, alien, I'm not sure about aliens, but animals, plants, planets, you get to name them as you discover them, which obviously fuels the need for people to go discover more things, to go discover new planets, and it's just a cycle that goes on and on. And I can see the appeal to that. Okay, so now let's get into the things I don't like about the game. I know the list of things I like, well, it is very, very short. But honestly, guys, there's so much wrong with this game. And I think the biggest problem is everyone that's reviewing it. So far, I don't know what's going on. No one really wants to put this game into a bad light. I don't know if it's because of their expectations. They expected one thing but got another thing, and they really don't want to not discuss it, but like feel disappointed with the game because they were really overly hyped about it. Or there's the other set of groups that review the game, and because they get early copies to review, they don't want to say too many negative things about the game because they could lose because it is a full-time job for most of these guys, and it could lose some of their power to get the game early. And I think the other and final thing is, I think people are just holding out. They're really hoping that updates or patches will improve the game. Give them the game that was promised in the trailers, that was promised at when it was being funded. The first thing I'm going to say is how everyone's comparing it to Minecraft. I know I said people that like Minecraft might actually like this game, but that's a very, very small chance. Only because I think Minecraft actually offers a better experience. Me personally, I absolutely do not like Minecraft. But Minecraft gives you freedom to move about, freedom to build what you want. But this game, after a few planets, or even after the first planet, you realize you have no freedom. You cannot set up a base on a planet. You cannot do anything, basically. You have to follow a set path to the center of the universe. Now, that's all well and good. You need to go to the center of the universe for A, B, C, D, whatever reason. But the thing is, we're not told a reason. You wake up, or you're on a planet. You don't know why you're there. You don't know why you're at the edge of the universe, and why you need to go to the center of the universe. There's no actual story to this game. I know it's a survival game. I know it doesn't really need a story, but apart from discovering new things, why is it that we need to get to the center of the universe? That's the main issue I have. It doesn't explain anything. It doesn't explain why all of a sudden you wake up on a planet and that's it. And your aim is to get to the very, very beginning, or not the beginning, the center of the universe, for no reason at all. Then there's the other thing about multiplayer. Now, again, I could forgive it if it had no storyline. Fine, they said, okay, you need to get to the center of the universe, that's it. Fine, I could forgive it if it had multiplayer. So if you can meet random people, if you could somehow organize a meeting place with friends or co-op or something, so you can go explore together, so you can build colonies, I don't know, but like get resources for your ship together, so there's not one of you just getting one thing. It could be like 2, 3, 4 people getting different set of things for your ship, so you can go explore together. There's nothing like that at all, and I think it's been proven, don't hold me to this, but I think it's been proven that there is no multiplayer. As far as story, so far my opinion is it does not have a storyline either. And for a game to be priced as $60, between $50 and $60, that is unbelievable. It's a single player game with no story, with no interaction at all. The only interaction you get is with aliens, either in their stations on the planet or in the space stations, and that is it. Yes, you can get into battles and so forth, but the thing is, with 18 quadrillion stars, you would expect to see some planets with actual life forms. When I mean life forms, I mean as in like planet Earth, like a human kind of population. I'm not expecting human populations in other planets, no. I was expecting like, okay, maybe there'll be cities, maybe there'll be something around other planets. But nothing. All you get is a rune that shows you that you can learn like an ancient language from. But again, there's no civilization to go with it. There's no structures to go with it. It's just a stone in a ground. So because of that, it kind of breaks the atmosphere of the game. It's okay, on one hand you got a vast universe and you expect to find new interesting things, new things on the planets. On the other hand, you expect to see some sort of races, or you expect to see some kind of life or past life, but there's nothing, absolutely nothing there on any of the planets that I've visited, apart from a few stations, one alien in each station, and that is it. So the only thing you can discover is, I'm going to call them animals, just an easier term, randomly generated animals and random aliens in stations, either on the planet or in the space stations, and that is it. So another thing that really bugs me about this game is when you go to a space station, it's a hub. It's supposed to be a hub full of aliens, full of, well, it's meant to be for trade, for buying. It's got a bar in there, for crying out loud, and storage. But when you get into it, it is completely empty. Apart from a bartender, there is nothing else there. No life, nothing. It just, I know this game is meant to make you feel like, show you the scale of the universe, but if you have space stations which are meant to be for a meeting spot, for trading, for something, but nothing there. The only interaction you have is waiting 20 minutes for a ship to fly in, or a few ships to fly in, so you can buy that ship. And the only interaction you have there is, do you want to buy the sell? Do you want to buy the ship? Do you want to sell him an item? Do you want to buy an item from him? And that is it. There is no other interaction apart from that. I'm guessing majority of you guys have all seen Star Wars, and I expected something like that. I expected to go in a bar and just, well, not a bar, but a space station, and just see hundreds, if not, come on, at least 5 or 6 alien races there, so you can interact with them, maybe hear a story from them, or maybe hear about their world that gets you excited to go further and explore. But no, nothing of. So on that, I'm gonna go back to the multiplayer. Now, multiplayer, in all the reviews, not the reviews, shall I say, the videos I've seen of the makers of this game, they said, oh, we'll have multiplayer, but it's such a vast universe that there's a possibility you'll never bump into each other. Forget about bumping into each other, you're not even bumping into CGI generated races. You're not even bumping into anything worthwhile that once you explore. But going back to bumping into people, it's been proven, well, I think it's been proven, like I said, don't hold me to it, that 2 streamers try and meet up on the same location, in the same place, and yet they could not see each other. So there is no multiplayer. I don't know why they're lying to everyone. Why couldn't they just come out and say, okay guys, we made a game, it's not multiplayer at the moment, it's completely single player, but we can introduce a multiplayer feature where you can co-op, or where you can do whatever you want later on. But because we want to get this game out there, we want to let you play this game, enjoy this game. So here's the single player option, and as soon as the multiplayer's up and running, we'll send it out to everyone. We'll do an update free of charge, whatever. But nope, they just blatantly lied to every single person, saying, yeah, it's got multiplayer, and they used the size of the universe as a scapegoat. Oh, because it's so big, you'll never bump into each other. And the other thing is, guys, this game is made in 2016, but when you go into settings, you need to restart the game. When you make small changes, you need to restart the game. Like, what the hell is going on that you need to actually physically restart the game to change settings? So, for example, I made it quite far down, away from my ship, nowhere near any bases where I can set a save point. And because I was getting so much lag and frame rate drops, I tried to change the settings. Because I changed the settings, I had to restart the game. And because where I was, I could not restart the game because I'll lose everything I had. So that was, I don't know what the guys at Hello Games were thinking when they thought of that, or thought it would be an awesome idea. Let's make everyone restart the game as soon as they change a flipping small thing. Like, what the hell? And now we come to the glitches. Wow, boy oh boy, are there so many glitches. There is a reason I've stopped playing this game now, and it's because of one goddamn annoying glitch that's trap my ship. But I'm gonna go into that a bit later on. But back to the glitches. There are so many glitches in this game. When you kill animals, they just randomly deform. Some of them randomly deform and go into some kind of spaz mode before they go floating in the air and dying God knows where. Then there's the textures. I know I said the game looked beautiful, but I said it looked beautiful from a very, very distant view. Now when you go close to the textures, they are so bad. They're extremely flat. There's no kind of variations in them, and it looks like it's been made for a handheld console and not a PC. And there is another good reason linking this with Sony. Now I'm going to go into the Sony aspect. I think this is what destroyed the game now, is as soon as Sony got involved into this. As for the glitches, there's the FPS issue where it just gives you such low FPS. Then on top of that, I don't know if it's a glitch or if it's to do with the FPS, but sometimes if you press too many buttons or you're doing middle or something, the mouse, it just completely spazzes out to a random direction. So I'm shooting something or collecting something or trying to get away from the sentinels, and the mouse just completely spazzes out and makes me face a completely different direction. Now other survival games, especially like Minecraft, they have a reward system in place. Okay, you dig X amount, you survive for this long, you can build stuff, you can do what you want. But this game has not a single reward. Yes, you can purchase faster ships. Yes, you can purchase ships with more storage, more powerful weapons. But that's not really a reward. That's just a typical thing a survival game does. I want a reward that rewards me for... Yeah, okay, fine. It gives you, like, oh, you walked this distance, here's an achievement, and so forth. But I want actual physical rewards that gives me something for finding something, for going into some place. Okay, now moving on to the scale of this game. Like I said, the scale, I'm not going to take anything away from the game scale. The scale is just mind-boggling. But now, when you get to the planets, I know everything's randomly generated, but there's issues. All the planets are the same. Yes, I know everyone's going to say, oh, you need to collect this stuff. It makes life easier to collect it if it's the same. Yeah, I get that. The argument behind that. I get if you, like for example, Earth, you get gold from one place, it'll be the same in a different place. There's gold reserves on asteroids, on different planets, possibly. There's a planet made out of diamond, for crying out loud. Boy, would I love to mine that. But back to the actual game. This game, when you take away the core randomly generated things, there's nothing else to it. Like for example, I spent a good 20 minutes going down into a cave. Whereas, for example, Minecraft, the lower you go, the more chances of the rarer items you find, or the tougher enemies, or something like that. I think you get into hell, or whatever it is. But this game, the lower you go, the deeper you go into a cave, nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's all the same. You'll find the same things you'll find on the surface. There is not a single thing that is different about going into a cave or just mining from the surface. The other thing is, there's some planets that you can see the star or the moon is very, very close to them, but when you go past the lake, there's no tidal pulling. The lake is completely flat at all ends. There's no gravitational pull. So again, I know these are small things, but in a game that's meant to be based around space, that's meant to give you, like, immerse you into everything, these small little touches breaks everything up. Okay, to the sentinels or whatever they're called. I don't know. I have not a clue why they're in the game. They're supposed to be protecting like the animals on planets or certain resources that might be limited to that planet. But again, these certain resources are needed for you to stay alive. So the sentinels, they are ready to kill you for collecting things that you need to stay alive. And again, there's no explanation as in why they're there and why they're in every single planet. Is there a greater race that controls them? Is there something that controls them? Or are you in an experiment and they want to see what you're doing or how you cope or how you interact with the planets, the universe? But again, it goes back down to there's no story, there's nothing in this game. It just, they thought, okay, you know what, this will be a good idea to have. But it's not. They have no purpose at all. Because there's no point of you killing animals. As in, they give you carbon, but there's no... well, I think they give you carbon, but there's no point because you can get carbon from anywhere. Now to the spaceship. Oh boy, was this... Again, it feels like I'm in 1996 playing on a portable device. You go into the ship, you cannot physically turn your head around to look around. Once you turn, you physically turning the whole spaceship. There's no other way of looking around at anything else. So you get into a dogfight. So where most games, you get into a dogfight, you can turn your head, see where your opponent's going, and so you can pretty much calculate and turn to them. But this game, because you're turning the whole ship and the ship just takes ages to turn, you lose sight of them. You just lose the surrounding around you. And then above all, the ship's controls are so bad. I don't know what's wrong with them, but they are definitely not made for a keyboard and mouse. I presume they're made for a joystick. And again, it comes back down to Sony, which I'll be getting into. Okay, before I move into the Sony, which I think is the biggest disappointment for the game, I'm going to talk about Total Biscuit. He's done, I think, possibly a small review or whatever he wants to call it. And normally, his reviews are absolutely brilliant. They're honest and down to the point. But this one, I agree with him in most things about the game. But he, again, gives them a scapegoat with the issues with FPS and so forth. Basically goes, because there's so much variety of PCs, so many operating systems, so many configurations, that it's not possible to make a game that runs smooth on everything. Which I agree to that, but it's a big but. There's thousands of games on the PC, and all these games don't have issues. They're all made for a variety of PCs, a variety of configurations. But again, these games don't have any issues. But why does this game have so many issues with FPS? It's not the hardware of your PC. It's not anything to do with that. It's the fact the game it's not coded properly. That's one fact. But okay, now to the biggest issue. Sony. Sony obviously funded these guys. Now, if you have essentially a rival gaming company to what you're actually producing the product for, so this game was meant to be for the PC, so obviously that's a complete rival to PlayStation. Now, if Sony come along to you and say, we're going to give you X amount of millions, but we want this game on the PlayStation as well, they're not going to say, okay guys, here's millions, please make this for the PC, and also, could we have it on the PlayStation 4 as well, please? Just release it when you're ready. Obviously, I know you guys have been working on the PC for so long, so get that out there, and then make the PlayStation 1. Okay? Good knowing you guys. Thank you, bye. Adios. Anyone that believes that, honestly, stop playing games on the PC, and all I can say is just stick to your Xboxes and stick to your PlayStations. Okay, so this game, for Sony to give them money, obviously Sony wanted something in return, and that was for the game to come out on the PlayStation 4. And not only to come out on the PlayStation 4, but wasn't it convenient that the game came out for the PlayStation 4 earlier than the PC? Now, I know the creators said, oh, we're making changes and we're updating, we're improving the game for the PC. That's understandable if they were only releasing it for the PC. But no, because they had to, in such a late cycle, they had to possibly change so many textures, so many things to be able to run on a dumbed down PC, which is the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox. I know it's not released for the Xbox, but I'm going to categorize them in the same thing because they are dumbed down versions of a PC. For them to work on them, obviously they needed to save space, they needed to save textures, all the processes that go behind it. Now, to do that, again, it comes back to texturing. When you go to a texture, it looks so flat, it looks hideous when you're right next to it. And this is done because they had to import it for the PlayStation. So halfway through the cycle, or whenever Sony stepped in, even if it was near the beginning, because Sony wanted the game to be released for them first, No Man's Sky had to be made for the PlayStation 4. They couldn't work on the PC as how much they wanted to. That's obviously because if you're offered millions by a company, you don't want that support to go away. And thing is, this game has no microtransactions, has nothing, which is amazing in this day and age. But they don't know if they're gonna make a success of this game or how this game is gonna do in the future. So obviously, with an indie producer, they went towards the money. Now they went towards the money. Again, like I said, they had to make the game for the PlayStation first. And I know some people are going to say, oh, that's not true. Isn't it though? Because look how many reviewers, look how many people that wanted to play this game, that actually said they wanted to play this game on a PC, went and bought copies for the PlayStation 4. The biggest one I watch is one of the biggest ones I watch is Boogie. And he even admitted that he wanted to play this game primarily on the PC, but because it is coming out on the PlayStation 4 earlier, he's going to buy it there. So that's the reason behind it. Sony knew the following this game, the traction this game was getting, and the new gamers, most of them, want to be the first ones to buy it. They want to be the first people to discover new things. So what do? They force, I'm guessing they forced this indie company, Hello Games, whatever it's called, to produce the game for the PlayStation 4 and release it early. And because they had to release it early, it interrupted the PC version, and now you could say they're behind, so that's why it was delayed even more. But I strongly believe it was only delayed for one reason, and that was Sony. And now to the main thing, which is getting to the center of the universe. I personally think it can't be done, because there's 18 quadrillion planets. Now, I know some people have said, oh, it takes 30 hours to complete this game and so forth. But with 18 quadrillion planets, 18 quadrillion stars, God knows how many planets are around them, and even if you skip over all the planets you need are around them, which you need anyway to refuel your ship, and let's just say you take a straight line to the center of the universe, with 18 quadrillion stars, even if there's a 1%, it's a straight line is 1% to the center of the universe, you will not complete that game in your lifetime. And that's what I believe. I think this game, they know you cannot complete it. Because, well, firstly, most people will be stuck gathering resources, getting better ships and so forth. So by the time the game goes on, most people will have given up. So those guys are out the window. They're not going to get to the center. The second set of people, they're eventually going to get tired, is the ones that actually get the money as quickly as possible, get the best ship quickly as possible, and upgrade the engines as quickly as possible to get to the center. They want to be the first ones. Now, again, I definitely don't think this will happen again, because like I said, even if you take a direct path straight down to the center, which you cannot do, but even if you do, and there's only 1% of stars in that straight line, you are not going to complete this game anytime soon, if in your lifetime, that is. Okay guys, that's all I'm going to say about the game. There is a ton more that I could say. For example, how if you try to fly into a sun, all it seems to be doing is looping, so you're not getting any closer to it, you're just looping into the warp. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say about this game. Do I recommend it? That's a hard one. Okay, I'll break that up. Do I recommend it for $60? Definitely not. Do I recommend it for $40? Again, definitely not. Would I put it at the same price range as Minecraft? No, I would actually put it lower than Minecraft. Is it worth like $20? $10? If I'm being generous, I say it's worth $5 to $10. If I'm being generous. If I want to be honest, I don't think this game is worth, at the moment, with the current issues, with the current unclarity on what the story is, if there's a story, what happens in the center, if you can get to the center, I think it's worth 99p or 99 cents, and that's just my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just want to stop it now because it's getting long enough, so I don't want to make it any longer. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and I'll be back to making gaming videos on the CSGO and PlayStation, Sony marketing, there we go, on Counter-Strike and so forth. But anyways guys, take care, and if you do have the game, just enjoy it while you can, I say. But yeah, please like and subscribe, and see you soon. Bye. Okay guys, I'll leave you with the glitches. This has gone on for long enough. I didn't want it to be this long, but I'll leave you with the glitches now. One, me being underneath the map. The second one, the spaceship glitch that killed me at the end of the day. But yeah, I'll leave you with them. Hope you like and enjoy. And I didn't want it to go for this long, but it did, and possibly understand some of the frustration. But again, these are all my opinions. So, but if you love the game, nothing wrong with that. Hope you enjoy it. But yeah, please like and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.